The envelope didn't look like trouble. Cream-colored, heavy with purpose, the kind of paper that says, "This matters." It slid through my mail slot that morning, softly, without ceremony, while I was folding towels still warm from the dryer. The scent of lavender and clean cotton lingered in the air. I remember that clearly. It was the last ordinary moment before everything ruptured. Return address, Connecticut Department of Health, Vital Records Division. I thought it was some clerical error, maybe a form I forgot to sign. But my name was typed neatly across the front. Claire Elaine Whitmore. No one had used my full name since I left Stamford 3 years ago. I cleared the chipped coffee mug and the unsolicited magazine from the kitchen counter and opened it with the back of a butter knife. Inside was a death certificate. Official. Embossed seal. Blue ink. Deceased, Claire Elaine Whitmore. Date of death, June 12, 2020. Cause, accidental drowning. Location, Tulum, Mexico. I didn't scream. I didn't even blink. But the cold started in my fingertips, threading its way up my arms. That kind of internal frost that only shows up when your brain refuses to believe what your eyes are reading. Birth date, mine. Social security number, mine. Last known address, Water Street, my old place. I was alive. But someone had gone to great lengths to make sure that, legally, I wasn't. Which meant this wasn't a mistake. It was a decision. I picked up my phone and called the one person I still trusted, Maya Greer. My former roommate at Parsons. Now a legal consultant in New Haven, sharp, grounded, and impossible to rattle. She answered on the second ring. "I just got a death certificate," I said. Silence. A sharp inhale. "In your name?" "Yes." Filed in Hartford. Dated June 2020. A longer pause. Then, calm and low, "You need to come in. Now." I stared at the document again. Not just a piece of paper. A message. Mexico hadn't been my idea. It was my father's. Russell Whitmore never raised his voice. He didn't need to. His orders were always dressed up as suggestions. "You need space, Claire. You've been scattered. Take a break. Clear your head. We'll cover the costs." It was May 2020. A few months into the pandemic. I'd just left Whitmore and Sons, the family real estate dynasty, to start my own design firm in New York. They said I was wasting my degree. I said I was trying to save my name. The flight to Tulum was uneventful. The hotel was pristine, minimalist, exactly my taste. Too perfect, in hindsight. By day 2, my bank card stopped working. The bank said there were no issues on their end. By day 3, my phone stopped recognizing the SIM. No calls in, no calls out. Then the hotel mysteriously lost my reservation and asked me, politely, to leave. By the time I found reliable Wi-Fi in a dusty cafe, I'd been off-grid for a week. No messages. No missed calls. Not even of "Where are you?" I emailed Maya. I texted Ivy, my sister. Just a dot and a question mark. Nothing. Something inside me didn't shatter. It folded, quietly. Like a bridge under too much weight. I booked a last-minute flight to Houston, then rerouted to a friend's place in Portland. I didn't hide. I just wasn't found. And slowly, I accepted that maybe no one was looking. I told myself it was a misunderstanding. That I was being dramatic. That maybe they thought I needed the space I never asked for. But now? With that death certificate in my hand? They hadn't forgotten me. They had erased me. The last time I saw Caleb Dawson, I was 19. He handled my grandmother's estate, grey suit, metronome voice, and the faint scent of peppermint and old paper. When I walked into his office, nothing had changed. "In the flesh," I said. He gestured to a chair. I Saturday. Placed the certificate on the desk. He read it slowly. I never believed it, he said. But I had no proof otherwise. I need to know what they've taken. He opened a worn leather folder. My grandmother's trust. Elaine Margot Whitmore, a founder of the empire and the only person in that family who ever treated me as more than a name on a balance sheet. She left you her personal estate, Caleb said. 6 million. Plus the Vermont property. But there were conditions. I nodded. Of course there were. 1. You must be legally alive at the time of transfer. 2. You cannot be affiliated with Whitmore and Sons in any capacity. Sounds like her, I said. He slid me a document, Clause 17. Dormant status provision. If the beneficiary is presumed dead or fails to respond within 3 years of her passing, the estate reverts to the Whitmore Family Trust. Deadline, May 27, 2024. I had 92 days. If I didn't reverse my death, reclaim my identity, and validate the inheritance, everything would pass to my father and brother. They hadn't killed me out of vengeance. They'd done it for access. And they almost got away with it. Caleb leaned back. I can help you file. But this won't be quiet. I don't need quiet, I said. I need daylight. The next envelope wasn't mailed. It was hand-delivered. Cream-colored. Embossed with the seal of the Connecticut Probate Court. Inside, a petition for emergency conservatorship. Filed by Russell and Jacob Whitmore. Grounds, delusional behavior. Paranoia. Financial instability. Clipped to the front was a note, in my father's handwriting. We believe Claire is a danger to her own legacy. I didn't laugh. I didn't cry. I folded the petition neatly and walked to the sink, then threw up. Because I recognized every word. They weren't inventing new lies. They were weaponizing old ones. Back in 2020, after losing my passport and spiraling from dehydration, I'd spent 3 days in a private clinic in Mexico. My family paid the bill, quietly. Never mentioned it again. Until now. Maya arrived 20 minutes later, took one look at my face, and said nothing. She picked up the envelope and nodded. We'll need your medical records. I still have them. Originals. Good. We'll also need a counter-statement from the clinic. I already called. They're overnighting it. Her mouth tightened into something between a smile and a battle plan. You're good at this. No, I said. I just know how far they'll go. We weren't preparing for a trial. We were preparing for war. That night, Ivy showed up. My sister. Her hand shaking, her voice barely above a whisper. I shouldn't be here. She held out a manila envelope. Inside, an address, scribbled in her handwriting. Walker Storage Facility, Bridgeport. Unit C21. No windows. No cameras. We went. With us was Eli Martinez, a forensic accountant Maya had trusted on a prior fraud case. He brought scanners, cables, hard drives. Inside Unit C21 was dust, old toner, and the truth. Red folder. Archive 9. Client risk reports. Loan documents forged in my name. Shell companies. Passport scans. Wire transfers to the British Virgin Islands, $2. For million worth, laundered just under federal thresholds. And a memo. From Jacob Whitmore. To Bernard Lake, Family Legal Counsel. Subject, Phase 2, Discredit plus Invalidate. If she resurfaces, we go psychiatric. We already have Alan on standby. Alan. Dr. Alan Kirsner. The name on the fake psychiatric evaluation. They weren't worried I'd unravel. They were worried I'd come back. 30 days later, I walked into the courthouse in a blazer I designed years ago and never dared wear. Maya on one side, Caleb on the other, Eli behind me. Phones buzzed. Heads turned. The dead daughter had returned. My family was already there. Russell, composed. Jacob, twitching. Charlotte, pristine. She looked at me and said only, "Claire." Not "you're alive." Just, "Claire." Like my name had never vanished. Inside, we laid everything bare. The forged death certificate. The clinic records. The wire fraud. The memo. The motive. Then Ivy took the stand. "I found this in Dad's office," she said, voice breaking. They weren't worried she was unstable. They were worried she'd come back. The judge read the emails, then looked at me. "Do you wish to address the court?" I stood. "I didn't die," I said. "I disappeared because silence was the only way I knew to survive. But I came back. Not for revenge. Just for the truth. With my name on it." She nodded once. Motion granted. Identity reinstated. Estate transfer suspended. Investigation pending. I passed my family without looking back. They didn't stop me. They didn't reach for me. And for the first time in my life, I didn't belong to them.